You ever wonder what really goes on behind those velvet ropes and diamond-studded gates in Hollywood? The glitz, the glam, the red carpets, they're all a distraction. But what if I told you there's a storm brewing right under the surface? A scandal so outrageous that it's been whispered about in every green room, comedy club, and executive office from LA to New York. And guess who's at the center of it? None other than Katt Williams, the wild, fearless, unfiltered comedian who's made some of Hollywood's biggest names sweat bullets just by opening his mouth. That's right, the man who can make you laugh until you cry is also allegedly poking at skeletons no one wants.
All these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
But now Dave Chappelle has always been funnier than me. And Chris Rock has always been funnier than me. I've always been aware of who was funnier than me. I've just also been aware of who wasn't. So now I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
Twitter beef with this guy, Katt Williams. That Katt Williams starts saying things to this fake Dave Chappelle that's hurting the real Dave Chappelle's feelings. So I go to the comedy show and I see Kevin Hart there. I'm like, what's up, Kevin? And he's like, yo, man, Katt.
Uncovered. And now, Dave Chappelle, yeah. The man who walked away from millions without blinkings, pulling back the curtain on things that could destroy reputations, friendships, and maybe even careers. Are you ready to hear the secrets Hollywood is praying you never discover? Because what we found is beyond shocking, beyond hilarious, and beyond anything you've seen on a comedy stage. This isn't just a story, it's a full-blown expose. And trust me, you won't believe who's really controlling the narrative. Stick around, because once we dive in, there's no turning back. Alright, let's peel back the curtain on Hollywood's so-called funniest chaos. And believe me, it is messier than a red carpet with spilled champagne. Katt Williams is not just some comedian you scroll past on Instagram or catch in a Netflix special. He is a lightning rod. The man has been taking on the industry's biggest players for years, from Oprah-level power to Tyler Perry-level control and Kevin Hart-level charm all at once. And every time he opens his mouth, the system starts sweating. Why? Because he refuses to play by the rules. And in Hollywood, rules are basically suggestions for everyone except the top 1%. Katt has been labeled
Katt Williams, Black Tree. Take one up one.
Your fans have a difference of opinion.
But Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. And until we deal with that, until we deal with the fact that a devout Muslim who doesn't eat bacon was accused of being a crackhead, until we establish the fact that they said that he went to Africa to smoke coke, when we know they don't have running water.
We are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us. Yeah. But now it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. Right. I'm still not going to join. But
unruly, difficult, and even dangerous by insiders who probably have stock in keeping Hollywood secrets buried. But is he really the problem? Or is Hollywood terrified of someone who refuses to bend? Imagine a comedian walking into a studio, looking the executives in the eye and saying, "No, I will not participate in a project that disrespects my community." That alone is enough to make the suits break into cold sweats. Katt was never going to take a paycheck and smile for the cameras. That is the real scandal. The stories of his defiance start early. According to highly confidential sources, during the filming of a major comedy in the early 2000s, Katt refused to shoot a scene that would have exploited his castmates for cheap laughs. The producers allegedly panicked, sending a flood of messages.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Nervous as hell right now.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, he's right there.
There he is.
I didn't know he was right there, nigga. I would not have said that if I had said it right.
Yeah.
Not used to quiet, introspective Katt Williams.
No.
But let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time? Yeah. In the same room. Yeah.
That's right.
Phone calls, and perhaps even private investigators to convince him otherwise, but he did not budge. That single act of standing his ground supposedly cost the studio millions and circulated through Hollywood corridors faster than any gossip column. And then there is the spending. Hollywood loves to flaunt wealth, but our sources claim some executives were shocked when Katt walked onto sets, not to grovel for a bonus, but to negotiate terms that ensured creative freedom, respect, and integrity. There is even a wild claim that he turned down a luxury vacation package worth more than a modest house, just because it came with hidden strings. Imagine someone in Tinseltown actually saying no to free money. People lost their minds. The tension spreads beyond studio walls. Fellow comedians reportedly felt the heat as well. Rumors speak of a Twitter feud.
Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. They called him Pilot Boy because he had 19 pilots in Hollywood and everybody passed on him and said his show wasn't worth it. Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid, so we'll offer you 10% of what you made. You mean he made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are gonna say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy crackhead by the time you get home. He got on a flight in LA, and by the time he got to Ohio, it was
Twitter feud that began with a fake Dave Chappelle account escalated into a flurry of messages and ended with Kevin Hart personally trying to intervene. Katt's responses were allegedly unapologetic and fearless, making it clear he would not back down and challenging others to do the same. Imagine the backstage tension at major comedy events. Rooms filled with stars in designer suits, whispering nervously because they know. Katt's words cut deeper than any roast ever could. Hollywood panicked not just on social media but behind closed doors. Sources claim executives held him.
Remember when Kevin Hart said this about Katt Williams?
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood, the white man, this and this. When do you take responsibility for your action? Me, Kevin Hart, the guy that sits on top right now, have taken advantage of all the money that I have, shot over 56 specials for the up-and-coming generation of comedy. You had the shot. You didn't show up to work. You became a risk to the studio.
What was the risk?
He chose
Emergency meetings to discuss containment strategies after Katt allegedly exposed favoritism, secret deals, and the way black talent is often locked out. A comedian threatening to reveal how power works suddenly became more dangerous than any contract dispute. The drama escalates even further. Stories circulate about Katt confronting multiple high-profile figures in a single night, creating a cinematic scene of sharp suits, flashing cameras, and a room.
And Katt Williams did not hold back in his response.
the fact that people tell lies. A cat's on. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold it to me, did it with me? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. You can't afford to be a comedian and be black and be short and have me as a op. Not just because I'm him, but because you're not.
Controversy online. I know you don't spend all your time online about Kevin Hart wearing a dress in the SNL skit. And Dave Chappelle spoke about that as a comedian. Black actors are always, being asked to wear dresses. Have you ran into that? And what do you think about that whole Illuminati theory that people put out there about that?
Well, thanks for that softball question. It's 2 answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of...
So tense it could be cut with a knife. One executive supposedly whispered, "We did not expect him to actually show up." The audacity of a man walking into a room of people whose entire careers depend on compliance and calling them out directly sent shockwaves throughout Hollywood. Everyone present reportedly knew that the moment Katt spoke, the energy shifted, the narrative changed, and no one felt safe. His reputation as a fearless voice of truth was cemented with every story, every confrontation, and every refusal to compromise. From that moment, Hollywood never looked at Katt Williams the same way. The whispers turned into murmurs. The murmurs into heated discussions in executive offices where deals are made and reputations are carefully constructed. There are stories from anonymous insiders claiming that some of Hollywood's most polished stars began double-checking every move, every word, every joke, because they knew Katt would expose it if it was wrong, if it was fake, or if it was exploitative. And the rumors do not stop at the studios. Fans, social media commentators, and even casual viewers online began noticing patterns. Favoritism, repeated roles for the same people, and opportunities disappearing mysteriously. According to our investigative sources, there are unconfirmed reports of lavish parties where decisions about careers were made in whispers over champagne, where loyalty was traded like stock, and Katt was never invited because he refused to participate in the charade. He was the outsider, the one who called out hypocrisy while the rest clapped politely and
we might not let you drink anymore the way I mean, we ain't even got...
You mean to tell me if Steve Harvey, your favorite comedian, you've been waiting for him to do stand-up?
I went on Facebook. I typed my name in. They were like, you cannot use celebrity names. I was like, word? So then I go on Twitter, and it's the same thing. It's like, oh, it's a fake Dave Chappelle. My name, my picture was not me. And it turned out, Jimmy, the guy was like hilarious. Like a week or two into it, he just turns evil. And he starts like tweeting all this stuff to comedians I work with and starts like a whole Twitter beef with this guy, Katt Williams. That Katt Williams starts saying things to this fake Dave Chappelle that's hurting the real Dave Chappelle's feelings. So I go to the comedy show and I see Kevin Hart there. I'm like, what's up, Kevin? And he's like, yo, man, Katt's here. Like I was in trouble or something. Like, well, so then I go over to Katt and I'm like, yo, Katt, I gotta talk to you. I don't have a Twitter page. And he's like, so what, Dave Chappelle? He's like, what are you trying to say? And I'm like, I'm trying to say I don't have a Twitter page. He goes, so that's not unusual. I don't have a Twitter page either.
And signed their contracts. Then there were the direct confrontations with fellow comedians and celebrities. Kevin Hart allegedly got caught in the middle when Katt publicly criticized how safe faces are chosen for major roles, claiming that studios pick compliant talent to avoid disruption. Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer reportedly came under scrutiny too, accused by Katt of recycling jokes and presenting them as their own while maintaining untouchable public images. According to sources who insisted on remaining unnamed, Katt even suggested that some industry legends had been protecting themselves for decades while quietly suppressing rising talent. The claims sent ripples through comedy circles, creating debates online, on talk shows, and backstage at major events. Fans were split. Some saw him as reckless, others as fearless, and no one could ignore him. Every joke, every story, every viral clip became more than entertainment. It became evidence, or at least an allegation, that Hollywood is not what it seems. The public reaction was equally explosive. Memes circulated depicting Katt as the man who exposes the untouchable. Tweets demanded answers from celebrities, and fan forums debated the morality and integrity of everyone involved. Leaked reports, whether real or fabricated, suggested that some executives considered legal action against Katt simply for speaking the truth as he saw it. Others allegedly tried to quietly bribe, persuade, or intimidate him, but according to insiders, Katt refused to be controlled. Even stories about him turning down multi-million-dollar deals surfaced, showing that he would rather sacrifice money than his voice. And somewhere along the way, Dave Chappelle's name came up in connection with Katt, a man similarly unafraid to stand up to the machine, making the Hollywood establishment even more nervous. The idea that two of the industry's most influential comedians were on parallel paths, refusing to bow to authority, created a tension that could almost be felt on the streets, in clubs, and on every stage. The consequences were dramatic. Rumors of government probes, behind-the-scenes investigations, and private meetings reached entertainment reporters, though most of it never made it into mainstream coverage. Sources hinted at potential resignations, canceled projects, and studio executives scrambling to protect their interests. But Katt remained unapologetic, fearless, and more outspoken than ever, fans say that even in the face of chaos, he continued to push the narrative of truth, integrity, and transparency, turning every controversy into a lesson about power and accountability. Hollywood's polished image cracked, showing a system that rewards obedience and punishes honesty. And Katt Williams became the undeniable symbol of the fearless comedian who refuses to play along. Every appearance, every performance, every viral moment reminded the world that the system is fragile, and that sometimes, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who refuses to sit down and shut up. So now the question is, what do you do with all of this? Do you just scroll past, laugh at the jokes, and pretend Hollywood is as perfect as it looks on Instagram? Or do you start asking the hard questions, the ones nobody in the industry wants you to ask? Katt Williams has been telling the truth, standing up to the system, exposing hypocrisy, and shaking the foundations that so many people rely on to feel safe. And if he isn't afraid to call out the untouchable, then maybe it's time we stop pretending that everything behind the velvet ropes is glamorous. Think about it: how many deals, how many careers, how many carefully polished smiles are hiding stories of manipulation, favoritism, and outright lies? The more you dig, the more you realize that the entertainment world is a house of cards, and Katt is the one laughing at the top while pointing out every crack. If you want to see the real Hollywood, the side that nobody admits exists, you need to stay alert. Comment your thoughts. Tell us who else should be exposed. Hit that like button if you're ready for more truth bombs. And make sure you subscribe, because this is only the beginning. The next story is coming. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. Are you ready to face what they don't want you to see?